Here it is, everybody, the Brinyte PT16. This has been in my pocket for a few days now. I've been trying it out, checking it out, seeing what I think about it so I can pass some information on to you all. We'll start at the front up here. It comes with an SFT40 emitter in there. The bezel doesn't come off, it stays in place. There's not a break until you get back here. At that point right there, that is where they have put the head of this thing on. It has a side switch that does auto lock. It flashes that little green light right there letting you know it's locked out. I'm not too worried about that auto lock though, and I'll tell you why in a minute. There's a Type-C charger. They got away from the magnetic charging and went with that. I'm not crazy about it. I prefer the magnetic charging, but that's just me. Maybe everybody else prefers that because they can come up with a charger easier for it. This little rubber flap is really flimsy. It's not very good. They've already told me that they are fixing that and going to make it better. I'm glad to hear that they agreed that that needs to be made better, so on later models you shouldn't have that. We're going to keep moving along. There's a 21700 battery in here. This clip is not terrible. I actually like it. I usually prefer a deep carry clip and for the clip to come all the way up here, but with this ring right here, this makes for a really easy retrieval from the pocket. The flashlight is actually pretty nice to ride right here where the clip stops it, and then I can grab it by this ring and retrieve it and have access to these tail cap buttons. Let's look at these buttons. Now these buttons do not auto lock, and that's why I didn't mind this side switch locking out. After a minute of this flashlight not being used, that side switch locks, but this tail cap action never locks. There's a momentary press for strobe. There's a little strobe there. That also serves as a power output level adjustment. When you press this turbo, you have momentary turbo, and then if you press it all the way, you can use your strobe button there to throttle through your light levels. Lowest is 10 lumen. We'll look at that tonight, and we'll throttle through all these different levels tonight and show you what they look like out at the wood line. Let's go ahead and check out this 21700, see what it looks like inside. I charged it the first time, and after a few days of use I still haven't had to charge this battery because it's such a big battery. It's a nice 5000 milliamp per hour battery, and not only that, but this light has a buck driver in it, which is a really efficient driver. It handles that SFT40 really well, giving you over 600 meters of throw. And I'm just using my eyes and a couple other lights that I have that I can trust and know that they are a certain amount of meters of throw. And with my eyes as a judge and those other lights for comparison, I really do feel like that right there, that throw is 600 meters. It really does look like it. And with that buck driver, it's saving your battery and handling the battery consumption really well, giving you a lot of throw and not constantly charging your battery. It stays at that green light right there, and eventually it'll turn orange, eventually it'll go red, and then eventually it would go flashing red, and that's how you know it's time to charge your battery up. I'm probably going to go ahead and delete this little port cover. I've got a plan. I won't go into it in too great a detail, but on your later models they will have an upgraded port cover, and I'm glad to hear that they agree that that needs to be addressed and made better. My preference is the magnetic because it doesn't even require a cover. It just stays out in the open and it's fine, and you just throw a magnetic charger to it and you're good to go. But everybody has their preference. I'm sure somebody out there is going to appreciate this Type-C. My preference for turning this light on is these two buttons right here. I really like that. Very rarely get to the side switch. I'm mostly just bringing it up, hitting it up in turbo and dropping it down with that other button if I need to, and just makes for a really quick access to whatever light level you need. That strobe right there is definitely an attention getter even in the daytime. You can kind of see in the blurry portion of the off camera how we're out here in the daylight and shining out into the woods, I can get somebody's attention. I do use that feature on some jobs. I'll want to get somebody's attention and not go right up to their door, and I can strobe their house pretty much, and they know that I've arrived and that I'm there to do work for them or whatever. So that's pretty cool. I actually do use that feature. But anyway, let's go into nighttime mode and see what this thing looks like in the dark. Here it is at night now. There's the PT16. It's going to remain on the left, and I'm going to start showing you some stuff on the right. There's the MSR D1 with the same emitter, the same SFT40. Let's go ahead and put the Sofern IF22A, different type of reflector but same emitter, just to give you an idea. Let's go ahead and do another thrower, something totally different, but maybe this will help you just to give you an example. That's an extra 400 meters of throw from the Ace Beam L18, much tighter hotspot, but just in case you have one in your arsenal, you'll get an idea of what you're looking at there. And then let's do the Sofern, I'm sorry, not Sofern, Workhos. Kind of the same, they're in the same family, but it's the Workhos TS11 there. And like I said, the Brinyte PT16 has remained on the left the whole time. Just wanted to show you all some different stuff, kind of give you an idea. Now we can go ahead and step this down. There's the lowest setting. Oh man, it's not even showing up. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and bring it up to the next level. That first level was 10 lumen, and you can't even see it. Now you kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. We're just, you know, walking a trail or whatever. Your battery is gonna definitely last all night at this setting, and you have plenty of light to see what you're doing. And then just before turbo, we're on high now. Not even going to get hot at this level. After all that testing between all those different lights and comparisons was a minute, and still didn't get hot. It did get warm. It's not bad at all. Then we're back to turbo. Like I said, the biggest flaw is that charging port, and I'm going to fix that. Have a pretty sweet little light. There we are, still with a full battery after I've been carrying this thing around for a few days and doing all this testing and usage. Been using this thing pretty much as my main light, especially with that setting right there. You can see it at the ground. There's the 10 lumen. That's the lowest mode. I'm not going to call it moonlight because it's definitely not moonlight at 10 lumen, but I've been using that even around in the house at night, and it's a little brighter than I'd want it to be. I'd like for it to be 1 lumen, but this is considered a tactical light, so I get it. You know, you're not going to try to do anything like real low. So they did the lowest setting at 10 lumen, and that is better than some, because some companies do 30, and that's a whole lot. You'll lose your night vision with 30 lumen. With 10 lumen I can get by. Cool. Well, I appreciate y'all watching, and if you have any questions, just hit it up in the comments.